you think that you have the right to silence me?
I always said that I don't want to be heard, I want to be felt. I don't want to make my mark, I want to make my dent.
I didn't realize at the time that I was actually one of the biggest activists and largest organizers of white nationalism and alt-right in the United States.
They are what is considered by most people sort of your button-up white supremacists, your suit and tie Nazis.
Arguably, what they spew, while it's hateful and deplorable, is political speech, and so therefore it's protected under the Constitution.
Pat, why are you letting the fascists down here? You've got us blocked off, but you're letting the fascists come and harass us? We want them out of here now, damn it, or we're coming over the fucking barrier.
I can't walk in fear, and we don't walk in fear, you know, and I thank God for that.
Honestly, I wanted to make sure that when I left this earth, there would be something left behind that was worth a damn.
4 bands, 9 songs, 1 good cause, and I even do spoken word on the thing. So head on over to OnePeoplesProject.com and get your copy of this important CD. Bottom line, we all in the fight now.
If I die in police custody, I want you to riot for me. I want you to riot for me. If I die in police custody, I want you to riot for me. I want you to riot for me. Tried to take a stand, so we had our hand, the blood is on their hands. So the man, be the stubborn drank, bang him to the soul that I sang. Foreign games, don't forget her name. In the morning flames, but remain in chains. Let me make it plain for those who cut the cake. I'm born in morning, There ain't no peace. Natural learn, the freedom must be yearned. The court is not adjourned, the table's overturned. What's the pity burn? The politicians squirm, the ghetto bastard past the point of return. Once for all, it's either stand or crawl. You can heed the call of scrolling aerosol. What's the pity fall? I'm back to stand fall. I'm about to stop up against the wall. If I die in police custody, I want you to riot for me. I want you to riot for me. Till if I die, will you make the big fuss for me? Then I want you to riot for me. I want you to riot for me. If I die, I need you to trust in me. And I want you to riot for me. I want you to riot for me. Yeah, if I die, I ain't saying this just for me. I want you to riot, 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 riot.
And that was Reconstruction.
That was awesome.
Oh yeah, they go back about 20 some odd years. No, about 30 years at this point now. I mean, they were out in New York, out of the Bronx to be exact. And the lead singer has a whole bunch of other projects that he has done over the years, namely Ex Vandals, and right now he has a Brazos army. If you want to check them out, but I figured that was the best way to set up what we're going to be talking about today. First off, I want to apologize to everybody that came here on time. We didn't. We were off by a few hours.
We were here on time. We just didn't get live on time.
Yeah. Especially apologize for folks who are on YouTube, because that took me a minute. I'm looking at it on my monitor back here. So I'm Daryle Jenkins.
Beth Foster.
And we have a special guest.
Benjamin Foster. Thank you guys so much for having me. It is an honor. Huge fan. Second time on the show, I think. Happy to be here. Always happy to talk about music.
And
You're
that's
on the old show.
The old show. I was on the old show.
Yeah, the here we go.
Yeah.
Artivox report. This is Antifascism O.G. And there was a whole bunch of other things that we were going to talk about today, but I think we're going to be just dealing with music today. And I think, honestly, Beth, I'm doing audible with you right now, because honestly, I want to make sure that we have some music, either taking us out from now on, some sort of band that gets blown up. And it's particularly it's due to the fact that I think that there's a lot of good artists, and you're going to see a montage of them shortly. And the main reason, and their political charge, political charge. I hate that. That sounds like I'm writing for Rolling Stones or something like that. But it's like they're bands with and artists that have something to say, that and we need to hear it, And apparently, considering what U.S. USA Today said in a recent article. I mean, do you have that article up right now? I got it right now, but
Let me see if I can pull it up real fast.
yeah, but the name of the article, the title of it, the headline is Bad Bunny, Springsteen, and the Weight of a Defining Protest Song. And basically, I'm just gonna scroll down. It was talking about how back in the day, um, there was always those artists out there that came with messages, that came with calling people out, singing uh singing to power, so to speak. I mean, speaking to power, singing to power, whatever you want to call it. But there seems to be missing, according to USA Today. It says, I mean, one line in particular, it says, "Why in an era when artists seem to be outspoken than more than ever, that it feels like we're still waiting for a defining political track." And I was just like, when I saw the article, when I read the article, I was just like, there's a problem. There's a problem because the music is out there. And you just saw oh, go on.
You know, I'm looking at the article right now. They don't seem to have the same unifying power of the 60 era songs like People Get Ready, Give Peace a Chance, and The Times They Are a Changing, that spoke to the civil rights movement, anti-Vietnam War protests, and mid-century counterculture. I don't think the legacy media, which it wouldn't have been called in the day, but I don't think the New York Times, USA Today was celebrating Bob Dylan and artists in the 60s either.
Yeah, and it's like so funny now because everybody talks about how we all miss Sinead O'Connor, and I just go back and tell everybody straight up, when she died, when she passed away, it was not so much that we mourned her. I don't, and for those who don't know, I'm looking for something that Prof put up before to me, but it seems as though it's less of us mourning her and more like apologizing to her, because she was on point when it came to what it was she was trying to convey, what she was letting people know. And it's frustrating because that basically means that, back in the day, these folks who would sing songs that were positive and all, and they would just be, kicked to the curb or just dragged. I mean, do we need to talk about
or
what
brought before the House Un-American Affairs Committee? I mean,
truly, truly. I would just tell.
I just thought about Paul Robeson in my American history course this week, so I was like, yeah, there's always been those political artists, and they've always paid the price for it, but they keep getting the word out.
Right. I mean, even right now, we're talking about, how the heck with it. I'm sorry, Pedro, but that's the other name that non-for-profit goes by. But he that's not his real name. But I wanted to talk to him because there was something that he had said when I asked him to be on the show tonight. And he isn't able to do it because he's traveling right now, but we're going to have him on in a couple of weeks. And he basically said, because I told him, we're going to be talking about protest music, and I made sure that it was in quotes, because in all truth be told, that's a nomenclature. I shouldn't even try to say that word, but that's something that the media came up to talk about, what kind of music is out there these days. I'm just turning down my phone because I'm going to get all kinds of phone calls in a minute. And he basically said, no, we're not doing that. I found it. Basically what he had said, because when I said that to him, I'm gonna write it. Okay. I guess I guess maybe the understanding, or rather overstanding, I should say, is that it's not just about protest music, and he put it in quotes too, because that's been co-opted by the corporate corporate machine too. So it's necessary to do anti-corporate protest music, who or what Victor Yara called revolutionary music. And for those who don't know who Victor Yara was, he was a singer out in Chile, and very revolutionary. I mean, beautiful music. Um, and I've only really started listening to him over the past, I guess, 4 or 5 years, and and he was killed during Pinochet's reign. Pinochet killed him, and that's one of the things I hope. Hopefully, he wanted me to. He actually
What's the artist's name again, Daryle?
Victor Yara, Jara. It's so funny too, because it was like there's some, I mean, for those who don't know, I know a lot of famous people, and I'm not going to drop names, but there was one that who's a producer, and I told them his story, and he she wanted to look into him a little bit more to see if there was a story out there that could be a movie. Yeah, there is. There is, especially since Chile decided to go back into time with this last election that they had, and started coming up with a new leadership that looks like the old one of Pinochet. So yeah, um, there's a lot of good music out there that it isn't just going up on stage and during a awards show and just saying something that goes viral. I mean, the fact of the matter is there is music out there that that speaks to what's going on out there right now, and it's important that we put it out there and we start introducing people to that music. And I know Bob has the reason why Bob is here. He has something to say about that. He's not on screen all that much right now. There he goes. But Bob, definitely, you have the floor right now.
Thank you so much. And like I said, it's awesome to be here. It's awesome to talk about this. This is, my
Hold on. And that's how we start. Can you hear that?
We heard it for just a second. We had a dog barking here too.
Okay. Go back to what you were just saying.
No problem. I understand completely. Thank you again. Thank you guys so much for having me on. Music is music, arts, all of this. It's exactly what you were saying. It's protest music has been co-opted by the machine, for lack of a better word, for the music industry.
Come on into the screen, because you're not here. There you go.
Sorry. Okay.
Even though Beth, we just knocked Beth out. Beth is gone, but
I'm gonna invade all this territory. But no, I was thinking about that this week too when Beth told me that that's what the episode was going to be on. It's how protest music has infused itself with, it's music of the human experience. Protest is the human experience at some point or another, and we're seeing a lot more artists that are not necessarily protest artists that have a lot more protest infused messages in their work.
Bad Bunny.
Yes, exactly. Bad Bunny. Chance the Rapper, one of my favorite artists, who has not necessarily been political, but this last album he says a lot about a lot of important things. And the list goes on. Guar, a metal band who is not necessarily political, but
that's surprising.
Yes, yeah.
That is maddening. I was like, what? Them? Whoa.
And I'm talking about like the human experience music, and we're talking about a band who is space aliens from a dimension, but even they have a problem with what's happening. That should tell people something. But yeah, it's protest music has become it's infused itself in music. And I take it back to Bob Dylan, who I think, looking back on Dylan's stuff, he kind of got mad when people called him a protest artist. And I kind of start to understand that when I'm like, yeah, because Dylan was writing about everything. He was saying this is all humanity. We're all pissed off about these people that are trying to, throw us under the bus. And he wanted to say it's more than just protest music. What I'm doing is protest music and then some. It's about all of this stuff. And, you were talking about how we're going to have to make music that is against the industrial complex. And more we're starting to see that. We're starting to see, and I think that's awesome. I think that's the evolution of protest music.
And let me just stress that, I mean, even though some of the music that we're going to show you is probably on some major label, I mean, a lot of it is also in the underground. And I think that's where you're really going to have the juice. That's where you're going to have the juice. And I mean, we got Kneecap. You're going to see a little bit of Kneecap for a second. I mean, I'm just learning more about them, but boy, did they piss people off this past year. And there's another one who's not on this in this montage. Violin. Ben. What is his name? He sounds like his name sounds like Bob
Dylan.
Bob Villain. Yeah, Bob Villain. Villain. And he doesn't even spell it like villain.
And I was like, when I first heard that, I was like, who is this guy? And then it drew me in. That name got me. I was like, I got to listen to it. And man, he hits.
And it's the kind of music that I, personally speaking, is the kind of music that I listen to. I mean, even when I was a kid and I really didn't have any political process, praxis at all. I mean, I would gravitate towards the more gritty songs and stuff like that. Like, I mean, there's an article, if you look around, I even talked about it back in the how I was when it comes to music, because it was like when I was growing up, we had the Shaft album. Every black family had the Shaft album. But the problem with me is that my father had lost it was a double album, and the record that had the song that everybody knows, the theme of Shaft, that was lost. He lost that record, so I never heard that until I got older. So the other album, the other record that was in that he still had a song called Soulville on it, and I stop everything now just to listen to that song. And if I knew I was going to bring it up, I would have had it in the I would have been playing it right now. But man, no.
Daryle, I think what you're speaking to too is how important this music is. We might write articles that no teenager's ever going to read, where we really expound on anti-fascist ideas and movement. But a song is going to get people we can't reach in other ways.
Yes, that's what they're afraid of.
Yeah.
That's what they're afraid of. I mean,
I teach my civil rights unit. I have a whole week that we just do civil rights music. We do music from the movement, and we have two little civil rights choirs, and they perform different songs in class. And the students will remember that when they don't remember anything else.
What is it? I think they call it music therapy. But these are the kind of it was always important for me, because I thought, I mean, what was it that Chuck D in one of the records, it says your songs are mindless. I mean, it's just like what was it? It's spineless. He said it was spineless. It says they were basically singing sex for profit and all of that. I mean,
Chuck was one of the first people that called out, especially in hip hop. I think Chuck was one of the first people that called out that whole thing about all of your stuff is not hitting that place that we're hitting. That we're going after the giants, and you guys are not. You're rapping about stupid stuff. you know.
And it's crazy too, because when that all came out, the Stetsasonic and BDP and all of that, I was in the Air Force, screwing up all over the place. And as I always keep I keep apologizing for this, but I was a cop when I was in, like I said, no political praxis at all. And every time I would play one of those songs, I was like, what am I doing here? and then I went to go see them live. And I was like, within 6 months, I was kicked out. And it was crazy, because that was when those are the only when I started hearing them sing songs like the supporter of Chesimard and all of that. I was just like, okay, maybe I'm not listening to this band the way I should. And you're talking about NWA came out at the time. I was in the Air Force. I mean, with the brother. I served with the brother of Daryle from Stetsasonic, and they had that song about they had songs about segregation in South Africa, apartheid. Yeah. And even back then, I was going somewhere with my ideas, and I was learning a lot more about the world, because I was 18, 19 years old. And, it was around that time that, world, We Are the World was out there. And this is also in the article. I make this point. Everybody's doing these benefit albums and things like that. And the only one that I ever bought was the Sun City album. And because it wasn't just because of the message, it wasn't just because of the politics was something that I resonated with. It was also, for me, music that I never really heard before. They used to call it world music back then. And you got to think, I mean, there was a lot of stuff that I didn't hear on the radio. Remember, what we are underground, straight up underground, because remember, the world, We Are the World didn't have a hip hop artist, no hip hop artists performing on that album. Sun City had a whole bunch of them. and it was just like it had Bono in there before people started getting annoyed with Bono. I mean, that was how I first heard him. It was like there was a lot going on that album that just basically spoke to what it is I figured later on what I was going to be listening to. So I love the underground, because the underground is free to do whatever the heck it wants to do. And that's what I would tell people to go to if you're looking for that quote unquote protest music, your anthems and stuff like that. But we're going to help y'all in the next couple of shows. From now on, we're going to make sure that we have at least one video from a band that we think that you should listen to. It won't always be a band that's on a major label or even a label, but it's going to be people that we thought we want you to hear. I mean, even if the band is like 30, 20 years old, I mean, we'll tell you, we'll say, hey, look, because they have music that we want you to hear. And we're going to start off by introducing you to some of the newer artists with this montage that I put together of bands that I like, and Bob and Beth like. So here's some of them that we like. I love technical. I don't know why that didn't work, but let's try it again.
Burn the system down and start a fire. Marching down the streets and you invited. Twist up in the air and put it higher. We the people gotta stay united.
lacking control and authority, come with me and hunt down minorities, join ICE.
Fuck these fucking fascists, fuck their family and friends. If they defend a fucking fascist, they can fuck up to their deaths. Fuck these fucking fascists, fuck their family and friends. If they defend a fucking fascist, they can fuck up to their deaths.
Have you heard the news today? The bombs are dropped, the swamp is drained, America is finally getting saved. 11 million off of Medicaid, temperatures rise like interest rates, build Auschwitz in the Everglades, and sold merch at the front gate.
Came in the world out of pussy, I'm a pussy. 5 seconds on the earth, block 50. From all the action, he's dealing with the snatcher. Wanna be the master, benefactor, evil, back off the planet. Damn, they can't stand it. Saying in my eye, over Mars with my ancestors. Left the time, tongue hit my spine, keep my breathing in line.
My first row here is problem the call. The chocolate here is a shocker and all. Can't try to fight and a drug your body. It's time I ride and leave it. All here for the minute of the call, you're creating a Cairo. Tossing the hustle in the blend, do head, no fuck, get a rate in the check, and a crown on Twitter, and that's a win-win.
On the Nolan show today, I'm girl of a burning police car and chance of get the Brits out. So this is Ireland 2022.
Everybody supports women until a woman's doing better than you. Everybody wants you to love yourself until you actually do. It was something about her hair so perfectly fallen. She was nice and smart and funny and got everything she wanted. She's just a charity. Isn't that the most obnoxious thing you've heard? Her popularity. She's too pretty for her own good.
Love me now, hold me down, and the government's staying on every foot, and they try to keep us all down. No, they're never gonna keep us all down. Do you see?
And that
That was awesome. Sitting there like, I gotta download this. I gotta download this. I gotta download this.
I love Monroe music.
I found him on TikTok. I saw him on TikTok because artists these days, they have this thing where they produce 6 or 7 videos of one song, and that song basically stuck in my head for a good 7 weeks. And I still love hearing that song. I mean, I just started following him, and I follow him on YouTube, and I follow him on TikTok. I mean, he's just out of sight. I didn't know that he actually has a he's doing good. I thought he was still underground and he was just this guy trying to get people to listen to him. I think he succeeded. but yeah,
that's how I found Jesse Wells as well.
Yeah.
And I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, this dude's just, come out of the basement. He's just, little did I know he had like 4 bands before this, and he's been sticking it to the man for decades now. Yeah, same thing. And it kind of goes to what you were saying. It's kind of that old school, Robert Johnson type thing where they're just going and they're playing wherever they can, and they're playing as much as they can. And I think that's cool. I think we're starting to see the downfall of that industrialism with that.
Yeah, I think the internet did a lot to that, but it also Trump being
Yeah.
I remember when he first won the first term. I remember people were saying, the music is going to be out of sight. But yet we forgot that they have long since learned how to tap down that music, and now you got to look for it. If they don't go win a Grammy and say something on stage for Bill Maher to complain about. And I'm a little, for those who don't know, I'm generally raw when it comes to talking about, I got to throw something at Bill Maher every time I talk, because he's a piece of shit, and I want people to remember it, especially since he kissed Trump's ass enough to get himself a Mark Twain award this year, and everybody's looking at that. The news kids came out today, and it's like, no, no. Even CARE had put out a statement against that. We might have to talk about that at some point. But you also have to remember, I come out of the hip hop scene, the early hip hop scene, when it was all just like indie labels. I remember when I was a kid, whenever I saw distribution going to a hip hop artist or a hip hop label, I would just be crestfallen. Like when Def Records, Def Jam, when that got connected to Columbia Records, my heart broke. I like the fact that we had something for our own, and
Because after folk music, it seems like historically after folk music, hip hop was the protest.
Yeah.
Like where protests
The
went.
music of the people.
Yep.
What was
and,
it that?
And then it got co-opted by Columbia.
Yeah, and that's the way I saw it. And then all of a sudden, a whole bunch of rappers started getting killed and dying, and I was like, "Oh no, what's going on here?" But no,
And
it's
it
like,
really seems like people are starting to pick up that thread. Like modern hip hop is really starting to zoom in on what exactly did happen back in the early '90s when all those rappers were. A lot of people are talking about.
yeah. I mean, I was definitely thinking of it, and it was like all the music that I listened to back then. Once I got out of the Air Force, I felt like there was a whole world that I had to start going in the direction of. And all I know was that, okay, like I said, I was in the underground. I was in the early hip hop scene from New Jersey, which meant nothing. But I also started dealing a lot more with the punk scene back then too. And once you start dealing with the punk scene, basically everything is bare bones. Everything is grassroots. Everything you want to do is everything you wanted to do on high, you can still do. You can still build. And it's like what I did. I mean, you had your own, everybody there had their own labels again, and everybody had their own clubs or venues, which basically could be somebody's basement or a Pizza Hut. That we did that back then. And what I decided to do, oh yeah, zines. And I should say, I should point out that on Saturday, tomorrow, there's supposed to be a zine fest in Montclair, New Jersey. And I was supposed to be at last year's, and I can't go to this one, sadly. But but when I heard that they were still doing zines, somebody was still doing zines, and I was like 22 again when I heard that. And what I did for the scene, because I was sitting there wondering, okay, everybody's always all doing this already. So what can I do? And I went to doing TV. I had my own public access show. I had 2 of them where I just put all kinds of bands that you would not see on TV or not see signed. And it was called Channel X, and you could see pieces of it somewhere on YouTube here and there. It wasn't just punk bands, it was industrial bands and things like that. But that was my life, and I loved that life, and I missed that life. But oh yeah, I also had another show called The Life We Lead. But my boy Pedro, I was the director and producer, and he was the host. And that was more closer to punk and all of that. I mean, it was skinhead culture, and I mean, it was I'm but that's where I come from. I come from a world where if you want something done, you might need to be the one that does it. And that's especially the case of music now. I mean, music period. I mean, so don't wait for the next for that soundtrack. Don't wait for your protest song, so to speak. you'll sing it or hype up those that are. I mean, whatever talents that you have in that way, just use them to advance that kind of thing. It beats the living daylights out of what they tell us we can listen to. And incidentally, somebody is the woman, one of the people that we saw in the montage. I guess they opened up for Taylor Swift. Is that correct? I forgot who. Somebody did. It might have been Sophia.
I was just looking. I
Yeah.
did. Yeah, she did. She did.
Yeah.
She opened for Taylor Swift.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, and I have there's no problem with that. There's absolutely no problem with that. But it is a sign that there are people trying to make sure that that voices are heard.
You know, Daryle, as you were talking to, I was thinking about the '90s, and because we didn't have the internet, this bigger connection, our our music was often very regional. Those bands who were doing that kind of that speaking out, who weren't on labels, and it would be, you would know your band in your area. I remember going to Chicago in like '92 to visit a friend, and there's a whole new world of bands because they weren't here where I was. And so when we think about like access to music, we can find those artists all over the world who are part of the movement now because of the internet. And that's something that gives this music even more power today.
And incidentally, because we didn't have the internet, but we did have book your own fucking life. For those, oh, you know what that is. I'm so glad. And basically, for those who don't know, it was a directory of record labels and clubs and just about anything, zines and stuff like that, that are just in a directory for everybody around the world, who was doing what you're doing in your corner of the world. That's how we all net. That's how we put together clubs, shows, tours,
And we
and
called people on the phone.
hey,
Wrote letters and sent them through the mail.
if you watch an old Bouncing Souls documentary, what they used to do is they used to have on in their house just the numbers written down on the wall. And if you look, you'll see mine.
That's cool,
That is pretty
Daryle.
cool.
Because I mean, it was like back in the day, we were all. I mean, it was before they were signed and all of that. They were here in New Brunswick, so and it was that was. I mean, I miss those days. I mean, I can only imagine how much fun everybody is having now that they can connect with people all over the world. But back then, when it was just like it was great. I mean, there are shows that I really wish I went to that I didn't go to. City Gardens. I never went to City Gardens, and some of the best shows. I mean, the one show that I wanted to go to, and this was before they went kaboom, because they were still in the van back then. When Green Day came out, some of my local friends. I mean, the Bouncing Souls, as I said, and Headstrong was the name of the band, Headstrong. And I miss Headstrong. I love them, but they played with them, and I always got upset because I never got a chance to go down there. And what would have happened if I went down there was I would have videotaped the show, and I would have that tape with me right now.
With a big old camera you had to put on your shoulder, right?
Yes.
It's so OG to that, Daryle.
Straight. I mean, now this is my camera.
Yep.
This is my camera.
Yeah.
It's just like my GoPro was around here somewhere. I mean, but it's like back
The
then.
load has gotten lighter. We have to carry around.
Yeah, but it's so funny. I still carry them. I mean, people knew me as walking around with my camera everywhere.
That missed opportunity for me was the first time Wu-Tang and Rage Against the Machine played together. I would give anything to be at that show.
Christian just pointed out just now on our signal that Guar is actually playing tonight.
Yeah. You can go watch the disembowelment tonight.
yeah, but they're here in Jersey right now.
Nice.
I've only seen them play once, and that was with the original lead singer who passed away. Oh man, I'm not even going to try to say his name the way my mouth goes. But it's so funny because that was the only show I've also seen. I'll give you another place where you can probably see me for a second. If that was last night, Christian said. It was funny because if you go back to there's a video that they always played of body count of singing Cop Killer. It was at CB's back in 91. And if you look close enough, you will see me at the stage.
Man, that's legendary status. The fact that you're in the Cop Killer live, that's.
It's on YouTube somewhere, but you gotta look. I mean, I have a beret on, my cop beret, but
ironically.
Now here's the fun part about that. Me and a friend saw a small, because this was during Lollapalooza when it was running around. It was the first trip tour of that show, and I worked at Tower Records in the Village in New York, and my boy saw a small classified ad in the Village Voice that said body count is going to be at CB's for $15. And I said, okay, now I know what I'm doing for lunch. I went to go get my ticket. So we went up, me and my boy went to CB's, which was just like right around the corner. We got our tickets, looked over, saw Ice-T, said hi, leave, went back to work. And that was a show, y'all. That was a show. I mean, Chuck D showed up. Eddie from Leeway showed up.
And man, those were the types of shows. That was when hip hop and metal, that was the beginning of that energy where it was kind of the same thing. You know what I mean? You'd have a mosh pit at a
I think, matter of fact, I think that was the year that Anthrax and Public Enemy did Bring the Noise. Yeah, I think that was the year that they did that. Because I saw that show. I saw that tour too. And then I saw I hadn't seen Body Count in years until last year. I think Christian came with me for this. Was there too. Christian answered and let me know, but it was over at the Starlight ballroom here in Jersey, and Body Count played, and that was the first time in 30 years since I saw them, which is ironic because they're going to be at Pennsylvania this year, and so will One People's Project. And that's a festival here in Gilbert, Pennsylvania. It's going to be huge if they're going to be there, and I'm looking forward to it. And since I'm telling everybody that, I'm looking forward to seeing y'all there. All right, One People's Project is going to be there. We want to see you there as well. So maybe we'll do a bit of this this show there. Maybe we can get Ice-T to interview him. So and that's
didn't make it to the Body Count show. You saw Cavalera together.
Yeah, I'm looking at that now. Yeah, and for those who don't know what Cavalera is, they were the original. They were the founders of the band, another band that I freaking loved from back in the day, Sepultura, and and I'm not pandering when I call it Sepultura. The first time, because everybody will call him Sepultura. Roots, bloody roots. No, when I was working over at Tower Records, that's when I first heard of them, and my boy who loved them to death was from Brazil, and that's the only way I ever heard that pronounced. So it's Sepultura, no matter what. So if anybody thinks I was trying to be pandering or anything like that, I apologize. It's just that's how I've said it for 30 years. So
It is, man. I mean, at the same time you're listening to Sepultura, you was listening to Body Count. You know, it was all mingling together. And it seems like modern protest music is really doing that with Kneecap. I mean, it almost seems like they've got that hip hop and punk rock thing going at the same time.
yes, they did. Yes, they did. And you think about it, man. If I start talking about the stuff that went on back in the 90s, man, it'd be ridiculous. I mean, shall I bring up I mean, Urban Dance Squad? I mean, that was, to this day, I miss that band. I really miss that band. I mean, they were the first, for me, the first hip hop band, and they came from the Netherlands. They were Dutch. So, I mean, I really do miss that band. I mean, if I go running down, and I saw them live, and my boys from this band called Transylvia, they opened up for them. So and oh, by the way, if you want to see my show, on look up Transylvia on YouTube, and you will see me doing a little bit of a profile for them. But I miss those days, and I miss oh yes, he did Sepultura is also Sepultura and Cavarelli, they're Antifa. So we should point that out. When we went to go see them, me and Christian, in Montclair, New Jersey, they put the flag on the riser, on the drums. And if I had thought about it, I would have I would have had the video up for everybody to see. But I'll show it at some point. I'll show it at some
We
point.
can do it next episode. I love the idea that we're going to start including music each episode.
So that brings me to this too. There's two things I want to ask people. One, let me know who you want to see on the show. Who would you want us to interview? Who would you want to whose videos you want to see? And basically what the deal is that at the end of the show, because we haven't had a real end for the show, we just say goodbye and that's it. We're going to end with videos. We're going to be videos and call the segment Ida Rocks.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, now I got to make a logo. And by the way, I hope you guys like the new Ida Vox bumper that I just put on this thing. I don't know if anybody saw it yet, but
I did, Daryle. Incredible. I loved it.
Premiere Adobe Premiere is my lover. I'm just gonna tell you that right now.
Amazing. It comes in so
but what I was gonna say, at the end of every show, we're gonna have a video, and starting with this one, and I have to give y'all explanation a little bit before that starts, because we also had it on the original, on the Ida Vox show, Ida Vox report. So you can also see some stuff about it on YouTube somewhere. But we want you to let us know who you like to see on the show. Plus, remember, Ida Vox is a website, a news website. If you have a band that you want to write about, you want to interview, I mean, we can't pay you, but contribute. Just contribute, and we're more than happy to put a story about them. We're going to check them out, by the way, for some of you think you're going to sneak a Nazi group through and talk about and try to pretend that they're progressive or leftist or something like that. But we do want to We want people to contribute any kind of thing you want to say about your scene and your or who it is you care about. And also, if you have, we also have a public um calendar on One People's Project, on One People's Project and on OPP, where you can promote your gigs coming up. So just go over there and check it out. And let's start let's start making uh USA's today's article quaint.
You
So
know, too, Daryl, if there's artists who are just getting started,
yes, especially
look at their
them.
music. Yeah.
Especially them.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of the dismantling of the industrial music complex. Just
Mhm.
artists working with other artists, being like, "Hey, I've got a show here. You know, this is my that's the beginning of it, and that's amazing. Like that's awesome. I love to hear that anybody's doing stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Things or music or
Yeah.
anything that you're doing that's a voice for the movement, that's art that speaks to anti-fascism, anarchism, liberation, send it our way.
yeah, I mean, who I want to interview was that group that we saw in the montage named the Muslims.
Yeah, that was
Man,
They, I mean, oh man, that bass line that came out of nowhere. I was like, what? I mean, they're out of Durham, and they are a black queer band calling themselves the Muslims. I don't know. I think a couple of them are Muslim. I'm not sure. And I'm like, I used to hang out in Durham, and granted they're younger, but I would have loved to. I would have stayed if and moved down if I knew.
Who was the Moore guy that was the Moor, I think was his name. Man, he was rapping. I was like, I gotta download this guy's stuff.
Which one?
Moore, I think his name was Moore. I can't remember his last name. He was in the montage though, but man, I was just watching him like perform.
Wait a minute, which one was that?
Check this guy out.
Which I'm trying to remember which one that was. Hold on a second. Let me see. Mora? Oh no, you're talking about. No. That was a woman.
Oh geez.
I saw her. And this is the other thing, people. What I was trying to put together that montage, I noticed that I didn't have a lot of women, and then I found that. I mean, I just heard about her an hour ago.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible.
And I saw that and said, "Yep, she's going up."
What's your name, Daryl?
Let me get her name. Let me get her name right quick. Let me find her in my Moor Mother. Moor Mother.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out.
So who we had, for those of you who want to know right now, was Jesse Wells. We had Kneecap, Rovia, Moor Mother, Sophia Isabella, I think, the Muslims, the Neighborhood Kids, who were the first ones that you heard, and a woman named what the heck was her name? Eve, something Eve.
Oh, I can't think of what it is, Daryl.
Oh, bloody hell. I hate this when I don't have it off the top of my head. Earth to Eve, maybe?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, okay. Remember, I'm 57. A lot of these folks I have never seen before. But
I mean, he was in too. Her lyrics were just, I heard them. I think I heard them before, but just listening to them in that montage, they were just incredible.
That's why, and so much so you had to say it twice. I heard you echoing a lot there. And we're going to probably be taking it down because Earth Crisis from the 90s. They are on tour these days still too. So we should be if we start talking about bands from the 90s. I mean, we didn't Ani DeFranco, one of the greatest musicians in the business that no one thinks about as being the best musician in the business. Shoot.
The Moor Mother, she is actually a professor At the University of South Carolina's Thornton School of Music.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to see her. I saw some other stuff that I liked of hers when I was going through it, and I was just like, oh yes, we're gonna have to talk of her. You know who else I want to talk to? Incidentally, there was somebody that I saw over at another zine conference that we've had her on the show. I interviewed her. Black girl magic, I think. I gotta find it, but I want her on the show sometime soon. And if I can't remember the name, I'm not gonna try it right now. But the truth of the matter is, there's a lot of good people out there that we really gotta just bump, and we will bump. So and
The USA Today article where it was talking about no protest music. If I could get the writer to listen to that opening of that Neighborhood Kids song, like that is legit a protest march. You know what I mean? Like, the opening is, and I was thinking that today when I was playing it, trying to get ready for the show. I was like, "This is protest music. What are you talking about?"
I mean, I think.
Go ahead, Daryle.
No. I was just gonna say that I think there's too many blinders. I think everybody keeps looking for the conventional solution to a lot of the problems that we have today, and everything is unconventional. So let your music be that too. Otherwise, you're gonna miss the solution. You're gonna miss a lot that you're looking for. So do that now. Hype up everybody that you just saw. And incidentally, that brings me to why you see or donate bug underneath us right now, the entire show, because we started our whatchamacallit, our
Fundraiser.
spring fundraiser. We're trying to raise money for One People's Project, of course. And and basically what we want to do is we want a space. We want a place where everybody can come out and just network and learn. And we really would like to have a space that has a all-purpose room where we can have all kinds of events and things like that, music events and things like that. We're going to have it in Jersey, probably here in Somerset. And it'll be for the community. It'll be for anybody who needs this, need the space and everything. And as I was saying last year, you were there for us whenever we needed you. And now we want you to come be with us as we build something for everybody else, including us, including you. I mean, we know that there is something that we're looking for. There's a reason why you support One People's Project. It's one reason why you're supporting Ida Vox. It's because you're supporting yourself when you do that. And we definitely have to make sure that regardless of what Trump and all of them are saying, and by all means, it doesn't matter, and it will not matter what it is in regards to what it is we got to do. So please, everybody, just donate. And before I forget, because I damn sure can't, 10% of the donations that we are getting are going to be going to the prairie land defendants. And you remember from last week, we had a supporter, a rep for the group, who got convicted last week over some BS charges, to come and speak about the case and all of that. And our attitude is we got to help. And so 10% of the of what you give us is going to go to them as well. They got to get out of jail. We have to help them. It doesn't make any sense to to just sit back and just let that happen. And you're talking about a cat who spent the past 30 years trying to get Mamiya out. Leonard Patel, and a whole bunch of, and now we're here, and I don't want it to go 20 years, 30 years, and all of that before they see the light of day again. No, 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 that's not happening. We're getting them out now, and we're going to do our part. That, and also because I didn't bring him up, Alex Stokes. He also, this is the only person that is in jail right now for what he did on January 6th. It was in Albany, for those who don't know. And he defended people up there for who were being attacked by the Proud Boys, some Proud Boys up there, and he's in jail for the next 20 years unless we stand with him. So you can go to because I don't have the prop up, but it's freealexstokes.com. If you want to learn more about them.
Drop
And
in the links to that and Prairieland Defenders in the
thank you.
on Substack, and I'll get them on the other platforms later.
Yeah, get me those because I want to make sure that whenever we hype up them, we get everything. So, all right. Anything else y'all want to say before we get out of here?
It was kind of fun tonight, Daryle. We're always talking about all the horrible things that are happening, and tonight this was like the real resistance. Resistance is joy and resistance. Music is joy. It was a fun show.
Thank you. And it was, and Bob, anytime. So, and like I said, we want to interview some bands. We're gonna have we're gonna get not for profit from Reconstruction and Brasov Army on the show, and yes, everybody check out Victor Yara if you never heard of him. Gara. But hopefully we'll have him on in the next couple of weeks. He has an event that's coming up on the end of April, so I definitely want to get him before that. But we want more people out there that we should be interviewing, that we should be talking to. So just let us know who you want to see.
Thank you guys again so much for having me. Love to come back anytime. Love talking music. Loved your story, Daryle, about how you were in the Air Force and you were hearing this music, and it was changing your thoughts. That's what art does. That's what music.
That's what it does.
That's awesome. That's
man. I'll be here forever.
I like that. Like that inspires me as an artist. That's what we should be doing as artists, is aiming to do that. So that's awesome. But thank you both for having me. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. Until the next time. Now, those we're gonna play y'all out with us with a video from Aparatos Army. It's called Bronx is Burning.
Ooh.
And I'm in the video. This was fun. I had a ball doing this, and apparently I'm in a lot of other productions that are not videos, but I'm doing spoken word for oh good grief, why can't I say their name? I got a couple. Bloody hell! They did my I hate this. I really do. But you saw the commercial for the CD, our benefit CD. They produced that. And I have to apologize because to them, because my facia decided, no, I don't want you to say the name. But Potbelly. They're and I want to get the guys from Potbelly on the show at some point. They've been around. Listen, you want to know how far back they go with their activism? They fought people on what from the order. They had field day that, so and the order was the white supremacist terrorist group that was ran by Bob Matthews. Long story on that one. Long story. But this video, this videos that we're playing out is something we did last year, a year or two ago. I had fun doing it, and I hope you enjoy it. You will enjoy it. So, all right, y'all. Take care. Peace. And
Good night, y'all.
We'll see you next week. Maybe we'll have a musician playing coming on. Who knows?
Awesome.
All right. Take care, y'all.
Defendiendo siempre nuestra bandera puertorriqueña. Qué bonita bandera, qué bonita bandera, qué bonita bandera, esta bandera puertorriqueña.
Should we make no distinction between the jails and our streets? Our people are killed in the streets all the time. A brother by the name of Johnny is killed in the Bronx by the police. Sister by the name of Carmen Rodriguez to Lincoln Hospital by an abortion. We say that it's all the same thing, that it's genocide against third world people, black and Puerto Rican people, and that's why we're charging the city with murder.
Julio, Roldán, los boricuas se vengarán. Julio, Roldán, los boricuas se vengarán. Despierta, boricua, defiende lo tuyo. Despierta, boricua, defiende lo tuyo. Despierta, boricua, defiende lo tuyo.
Once burning in the summer heat, high learning on every ghetto street. Motion blue is going up smoke. Deja vu, uptown is getting woke. Strike a match and pass the gasoline. Break scratch, ain't always drum machine. For them roads are raising in the sun. Lock and load, the party's just begun. Send a message through the wire. Gonna set this game on fire. See the flames is getting higher. Once burning, syrup sweet. Tables turning back to a Latin beat. Getting lit on Rockland Boulevard. It is writ on memory's Burton charter. Light fuse or toss the Molotov. Pay your dues or face the fire mob. Fireworks, ashtray on Pilgrim Bay. DJ hurt and love will light the way. Send the message through the wire. Don't set this game on fire. See the flames is getting higher. Los yanquis quieren fuego. Todo murió ciego. La lucha no es juego. La revolución llegó. To a dream thwart, a sense to kill a mockingbird. As children building in wall, preparing for the rise and falling riders hiding inside the flame of the city. Hunger games with firefights on Morris Heights. They roam the days, we own the nights. A crew on Sedgwick Avenue for Anthony and Amadou. Ain't no peace for the police force, so people see the grand concourse. The stone show we could turn a park well unto dark and light the spark and feel as the city burns. The hung point of no return. The phoenix rises from the fire with matches and a burning time. I need my soda in the flame and solely in a human chain. Elijah called the fire from heaven. The torches at 7-Eleven. The dynamite, the mighty night. Becomes the sun's eternal light. Can you smell it wafting through the air? No holy hell will stand a prayer.
fuse has been lit.
That was fun,
That was
Daryle.
awesome.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking this morning when I was thinking about the music show, I think we should do like an anti-fascist literature. We could do anti-fascist visual art. There's a lot of different things we could go with there. I'm actually working on developing a book club right now. It's the Anti-Fascist Summer Book Club for my high school students. I've been looking at different like literature, starting probably with the Spanish Civil War and going forward. That's like anti-fascist themes. So there might be something there we could do a show with too. Yeah.
Daryle, it was so good to see you again, man. I would love to just get together and talk about music sometime because I think we could do that all day. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Catch you later. Bye.